He didn't mean to shove her. At least, that's what he told himself afterward. In the crowded starport line on Vesper 9, a human miner nudged past a girl who looked barely 20, thin, quiet, harmless. He thought nothing of it until the floor cracked under his spine 2 seconds later. Because this girl wasn't from a normal world. She was a Deathworlder, born where wildlife arm wrestles gravity and wins. And the moment he pushed her, she didn't flinch. She reacted fast, precise, terrifyingly controlled. What happened next became legend. If stories like this pull you in, hit like so more people can find it. Subscribe if you love wild HFY moments where humanity steps up, screws up, and sometimes gets humbled. And hey, if you know someone who enjoys sci-fi tales with a twist, share this with them. It really helps the channel grow. The starport on Vesper 9 was packed tight, thousands of travelers funneling through security, the air buzzing with engines, languages, and impatience. Humans weren't rare here, but they weren't common either, and Jox, a stocky asteroid miner with shoulders like stacked crates, was trying to squeeze through the crowd before the next cargo shuttle closed its doors. He didn't see her at first. A small figure stood ahead of him, quiet, motionless, almost fading into the chaos around her. No luggage, no movement, just a girl staring straight ahead. Jox tapped her shoulder. No reaction. So he nudged. A little push, barely anything. And that was the moment everything went wrong. She moved faster than he could register. One heartbeat, she was in front of him, silent, still. The next, Jox's vision flipped sideways as his boots left the floor. He didn't even see her arm. All he felt was a sudden pressure at his chest. Perfectly placed, perfectly timed, like she'd mapped his center of gravity in a blink. The crowd gasped as his body hit the polished starport tiles with a crack loud enough to echo off the checkpoint walls. Jox lay there stunned. Not hurt, just overwhelmed. What the hell was that? The girl didn't answer. She simply turned her head, calm as a surgeon, as if deciding whether to react again. The girl finally spoke, not with anger, not even with stress, but with the flat steadiness of someone explaining gravity to a confused child. "You touched me from behind," she said. "On my world, that means something is trying to kill you." Her voice was soft, but the room around them seemed to tighten. A few aliens backed up. Even the station guards paused mid-step. Everyone knew the reputation of Deathworlder's species, raised on planets where survival wasn't a skill. It was a reflex etched into the bones. Jox pushed himself up on his elbows, still blinking. "That wasn't an attack. There was a line. You weren't moving." She studied him for a long moment, eyes scanning his stance, his breathing, probably even the way his muscles twitched. Deathworlders didn't just look at people. They assessed threats, exits, weaknesses. It wasn't paranoia. It was biology. On her planet, children learned to duck venomous insects before they could talk. Teenagers outran predators the size of freighters. Every living thing evolved teeth, armor, or speed. You didn't wait to ask questions there. You reacted. "I didn't mean to respond with force," she said, lowering her hand slowly, carefully. "It's automatic. A hardwired survival loop." Jox swallowed. "So, you're saying that tiny shove triggered all that?" She nodded. "On a Deathworld, that shove would have saved my life." For a moment, the starport noise faded into the background. Just two people standing in a circle of stunned silence. Jox expected anger, maybe an apology, maybe another throw if he moved too suddenly. What he didn't expect was honesty. She took a slow breath, almost rehearsed. "Where I'm from, we don't get to hesitate. Hesitation gets you buried." Jox didn't interrupt. Something in her tone told him this wasn't a speech she gave often. "My settlement sits between 3 predator territories. We grow food in armored greenhouses. We sleep in reinforced shelters. Every child learns the reflex you triggered. She tapped her temple. A sensor ping hits your nerves. You act. There's no debate, no thinking. We're conditioned to respond before fear even arrives. Jax's eyes softened. That's rough. It's life, she replied simply. But it shapes you. Makes you see danger where others see inconvenience. What surprised him most wasn't the brutality of her world. It was the sincerity in her voice, the quiet fatigue beneath it. She wasn't trying to intimidate him. She was trying to explain herself, maybe even reach for understanding. And you? She asked suddenly. Why did you push? Humans don't usually initiate contact so casually. Jax scratched the back of his neck. Bad day. Bad timing. And I guess I wasn't paying attention. The girl nodded once, almost respectful. Then we're both learning something today. Word spread through the starport, faster than any shuttle could launch. By the time Jax and the girls stepped away from the security line, half the terminal already knew. A human miner had pushed a Deathworlder and lived. Not just lived, talked to her, understood her, didn't escalate. For many species, that alone was shocking. But the real shift came when the girl whose name Jax finally learned was Rin did something almost no Deathworlder ever did in public. She bowed her head slightly. Thank you, she said. For not responding with fear? Jax blinked. Fear? He hadn't even had time for fear. He'd been too busy trying to process the fact that someone a quarter his size could fold him like cheap luggage. And yet hearing her say it, something clicked. She wasn't dangerous by choice. She was dangerous by nature. And for the first time, someone treated her like a person, not a warning label. Rin looked around the terminal at the watching faces. Maybe this will help them understand us, she murmured. Jax shrugged. Or at least understand they shouldn't shove you. To his surprise, she laughed a quick, bright sound that cut through the tension in the air. By the next day, the incident had gone viral across 3 systems, sparking debates, curiosity, and strangely enough, new alliances. If a Deathworld girl and a stubborn human miner could walk away from a collision like that with respect, maybe other species could too.